everybody. Whoops, get that out of the way. Don't need to see an Excel sheet. How is everybody doing today? This is Christian Bradley for the Game Institute, and to tell you the truth, I might have gotten my times totally screwed up here. That's why I was late getting on. My YouTube channel says our stream doesn't start for an hour, but my Game Institute calendar says we're starting now. And I don't know what happened because I had to cancel one of them and reschedule it, and I think I confused YouTube. So I don't know, and maybe nobody's even out there listening to me because they're all going to be crowding around their computers in an hour. So let me get set up here. As usual. Give me a second. Live stream. Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Well, I'm here. I don't know if anybody else is. Sorry about that. This morning did not go well. I got up. We've changed the times around for the streaming because I've had to rearrange my schedule. My usual work week is a little different moving forward for the next month or so. So I added the usual amount of streams, but I put them at different times. And I got up this morning and I figured out that I had messed up the time zones. So I rescheduled it. That's where I think I screwed up Facebook. So Facebook doesn't know what's going on. And then I got ready to go. We were supposed to go at 9 o'clock an hour ago, and I go to put my headphones on with about 3 minutes left before we're supposed to stream, and the headphones snap in half, which is the third time they've broken. So I couldn't wear them. I couldn't do much of anything with the headphones at that point with my mic. So I canceled that, moved it to now, glued the headphones together, and my headphones are pretty much more glue than they are plastic at this point. But something got mixed up in all that, so I may be the only one talking today. But we are doing something interesting. We're going to one other small bit. In all of the hurrying to get this thrown together, I called this episode something like making clothing with the shell modifier. It's not the shell modifier in Blender. That's the max term for the same thing. It's the solidify modifier. And I had it named right in my own calendar and scheduling. I just named it wrong on the Game Institute site. So it's not shell, it's solidify. But other than that, that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, with all that taken care of, let me get set up here. Okay. Give me a second. We're going to try and give this recording a try because we're behind schedule today. So we're going to try and multitask. Okay. So we're going to be using the shell modifier to there we go. To make some clothing, or at least an example of what you could do with this modifier. And when I called it the shell modifier, it is the solidify modifier. Sorry, in Blender, wrong program. And all that does is basically make a copy of existing polygons and then add a bevel or a chamfer or volume to them. And it's a good way to fit things to a mesh. In fact, it's really the best way to do that. So we're going to use Lizard Guy here. Going to get him some pants today so he can go down to the mall and do some shopping. This is pretty normal of where the mesh would be at the point that I would be doing this. And you'll see that there's this really harsh seam running through the middle of him. If we try to use the solidify modifier with that, it's not going to work. We're going to get all sorts of doubled up polygons on this seam. What that is left over from the mirror modifier, and it's just a bunch of vertices that are not welded. So what we're going to do to fix that is go into object mode. We'll go to vertices. And obviously, if you don't have this problem on your mesh, you don't need to do this, but it looked like a good spot to talk about it. I'm going to turn off procedural editing. I'm going to use C just to select a few of these vertices here in the front and the back. That's why I have the limit selection mode on, so we can select the back. We don't want to select everything on the mesh because there's a good chance that we'll merge something that we don't want to. So all we do at this point is come over here and hit remove doubles. And then before we touch anything else, they are not removed. You can see, whoop, it just disappeared. But there was a little message up here at the top that said they were not removed. Nothing was removed. And that's this threshold distance. And if we move this a little bit, you'll see that some vertices got removed up there at the top, right there. And those are the vertices I have selected that have now been merged. You can see it just disappeared. Don't ramp this up too high, or what you're going to do is collapse your whole mesh. So with just those guys done, I'll show you what it ended up doing. And you can see that it's much smoother there. That's because they're now merged. And it will take care of any extra edges and junk that you might have in there. This will not remove polygons that are interior polygons. So if you screwed up the mirror function and have interior polygons inside your critter, this won't get rid of them. But I'm going to go ahead and do this process through the whole mesh, and I'll be right back. All right, let's get this guy cleaned up. I'm going to grab a few more vertices this time, obviously. And we'll just select right down that center line. We could probably, on my mesh, just because I know how it's built, I could probably grab all of the vertices on that center line in one shot. I could probably grab all the vertices on the model. The problem is, see, the vertices get closer together here. And so there's a chance that they'll get merged where I don't want them to. So usually I just do this in a few rounds when we get to this part. There we go. We'll give that a try. Let's see. And so what we're looking for is to make sure nothing collapses here. And you can see it removed 35 at this setting, which is totally relevant to size and so forth. But you can see what happens if I start ramping it way up, it starts collapsing. So really, I tend to just look for the vertices that are closest together, like right there on his nose, and make sure nothing gets wacky. And I think we're okay there. So yeah, I think we're all right. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, and you can see he's much better off now. We'll zip down here and take care of these. And if you don't have that limit selection mode turned on, you're going to have to go around the back and do this too. Right now it's selecting through the mesh. And we can just leave that setting where it is. Should be all right. And we're good. All right, so with that done, let's double check. He looks pretty smooth. I don't see any big issues there. Okay. And we'll get back to this guy. Okay, so our mesh is all cleaned up now. We don't have that seam running down there. So let's now hop over here to edit mode. You could hit tab or go to edit mode there. We're going to go into polygons. Now you can do this by selecting loops. So for instance, looks like, well, maybe we can do that by selecting loops. If we turn off limit selection, we certainly can. So I'm going to grab that loop there, And then I think I'm just going to select some polygons here to build out some armor or pants for this guy. Need some lizard pants. It's not often you're watching a show where they refer to lizard pants. And I'm going to go ahead, I think, and add that loop in. Yeah, I think that'll work. It's kind of got a low rise over here on the back end. So I'm going to go ahead. I think we'll add another loop. And another one. Just enough so that we have enough material to fit. Now don't worry about it looping down like this in the back. What we'll do is just kind of hike his pants up once we make the mesh. I expect we're going to have some trouble down here where it's real tight between his legs, but we will see. All right, so now let's go over to our modifiers. And we're going to add the solidify modifier to this. So the solidify modifier now has made duplicate polygons, kind of like cloning or duplicating, that are laying right on top of the other polygons. And that's why you see this gray in here. It works similar to what you'd find in other programs. You can basically make the thickness higher. Oh, wait, I did one thing wrong there. What I forgot to do is this. I'm going to take that off. Getting my programs mixed up. What happened there was I duplicated the polygons, but they're all part of the same mesh. And so what I have to do is hit Shift D. And what that's going to do is make a duplicate mesh. There's his underwear. And so we will have that to deal with. And you can see if I hit grab, I can move that. But right now, they're all part of the same mesh. So what we need to do is separate them. And I have totally gone blank here. Where is my separate? This is why we have this happens when I am using Max or Maya right before I start streaming. Oh, it's P, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So we just need to hit the P key. Come on. There we go. And so what we're going to do is separate that selection. And now that selection should have its own setting over here. So we can hop back over to object mode, and we'll just call these pants for the time being, for lack of a better term. And now if we want to select the pants, we can go back into edit mode. And there are his pants. Now, what we can do is we'll tweak these a little bit. So we'll just move them around. Now we could actually snap these to the surface and do some fancier ways of fitting them than what we're going to do here. But because of time and trying to keep this all nice and easy, what we're going to do is just grab these and move them up a little bit. They can intersect the mesh a little bit, that's fine. And we'll hit grab and move these down a little bit. These here are the biggest issue. You can see we don't want the back here to really look like that. So what we'll do is grab and move those out. And then we're going to have to do the same thing here with some of these areas in the center. And we'll just kind of scoot some of these areas outward so that his pants look a little bit more like pants. You don't have to see his rear end sticking out there. See this kind of divot back here? We don't really need that. Whoops. You can see I was not scooting on the right axis there. There we go. Kind of scoot those outward. And then we're just going to tuck these in. And I guess we'll use procedural editing for this. But much smaller. So use page down to kind of clamp that down. And we'll straighten these out here in a minute. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to cut away here for a second, and I'm just going to fit these so they're a little bit better fitted pants for our guy. This back end here is what's messing me up. Alright, that's looking a little better. We'll jump over to our vertices. I'm going to turn off procedural editing now, so I can just move these around. And they don't have to be perfect because it's going to be cloth. So eventually this would all be sculpted with wrinkles and so forth anyways. You can see a few pieces. And we want them to kind of tuck into the body. But at this point you might also want to tweak the body a little bit. I'm not going to, but you may want to do that. You can see. There we go. Just get them so they're kind of look like they lie on there. All right. It looks like he has lizard swim shorts on. Going to the froggy pool. All right. So at this point, we've got those pretty well fit. The back I'm still going to deal with, but he's got his little froggy shorts on now. So we're going to go to our modifier now, and we'll go to solidify. And what solidify is going to do is give that a thickness. And you can see we can go outward or inward. Now we want to go outward with this, whichever route that might mean on your mesh. You can see it's given it a lip there. I'm going to make this fairly thick just so I can get in there and maneuver it easily. Now there's a few things that we have to deal with. There's a fill rim button here, and you can see that fill rim we need. There is a crease button that we can use that's going to crease it if we'd like to do that. I'm not going to. There's an outer crease on this that we could use as well. There's a rim button. Again, none of those are particularly useful usually when I'm doing that, but we'll point them out. You can flip the normals. There's an even thickness. There's all sorts of other settings here. Now at this point, if I get rid of Lizard Man there, you can see we still have those interior polygons. So you can come in here, select them all. There you interior pieces too? Yeah, I think so. So we can come in here and select all these. Right, and then once those are selected, we'll delete those. So here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like with the lizard guy hidden. You can see by default it keeps those interior pieces. Never use that high quality button, but it's there. And so now if we apply this, oh, we gotta go over here to object mode. If we apply this, now we can hop back over to edit mode, and we have that shell piece. Now you'll probably want to come in here and delete these interior pieces. And you can see, usually the easier way to do it is to grab the poly loops. And then we'll come in here and grab the rest of these. Can I get a hold of that loop right there? Yeah. So we can delete those faces, just hit delete. And you can hit delete faces. These top ones here, wait a second. Did we delete faces or did we delete edges? I think we deleted edges. There we go. We deleted edges, so it got rid of the top one there. So now we can come in here. Oh, you can see we screwed up the back there. Oh, that's why. Make sure you delete the right stuff. There we go. Now delete and faces. Okay, should be right. Oh, there's his lizard pants. And these will act the same as anything else. So at this point, we could come in here and subdivide these if we wanted to. You could see. Get some pretty good results if we throw lizard dude back in there. Looks like that's what he looks like after he comes home from a hard day of work. Just sits in his froggy recliner in his underwear with his beer, watching the stock car races. So there is how you use the solidify modifier. Now, you can use this for armor. We actually have another episode coming up on that. You can use it for anything that fits onto another object. You could go in and delete the underlying polygons here, the ones we can't see that are part of our lizard. I'm not going to because I don't think I'm probably going to keep this as part of my character, but you could. We don't need them anymore. Also, don't apply the solidify modifier permanently until after you do your sculpting. So this is an easy one. You'll want to see what it looks like, and you'll see a lot of areas that look like draping on this. Just do all that in sculpting all at the same time or as separate objects, but wait till you're done with your model before you start using subdivisions and so forth. All right, so that is going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay. So we're going to be using. Oh. This is what Joe's working on right now. Yeah, but there's only like 4 people online